Oh, just the minutes.
Blue sky smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebirds singing a song, nothing but bluebirds all day long. I never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by, when you're in love, my how they fly. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by, when you're in love, my how they fly. Blue days, all of them gone, nothing but blue skies from now on. Nothing but blue skies, nothing but blue skies. Nothing but blue skies from now on.
Good morning. Those of you who dealt with the time change were rewarded with that beautiful music from Linda Walden. Good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Diego, where we worship each Sunday in the South Bay, in Hillcrest, and online. Oops.
Pues buenos días y muy bienvenidas a todos a la primera Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de San Diego.
My name is Reverend Justine Sullivan, and I use the pronouns she and her. A special welcome to those of you here for the first time or for the first time in a while, and I would invite you to complete the welcome card that you'll find inside your order of service.
Me llamo Marshall Voigt, soy el director de música aquí en la iglesia y pues les extendemos la invitación de rellenar el formulario que está en el orden de servicio.
Our community is a vital, diverse, multi-generational congregation without borders, with a mission to create community, nurture spiritual growth, and act on our values to help heal the world.
Somos una congregación compuesta de personas de distintas identidades racializadas y culturas, personas de diversas orientaciones sexuales e identidades de género, y personas de varias habilidades mentales y físicas.
We are creators of community and compassion, and though we can fall short, we are committed to practicing an affirming welcome to all.
And we invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our church hymn and reciting our aspiration. From all who dwell below the skies, let faith and hope with love arise. Let beauty, truth, and good be sung through every land by every tongue. De todos bajo el gran sol surja esperanza, fe y amor, verdad y belleza cantando de cada tierra, cada voz.
May love be the spirit of this church. May the quest for truth be its sacrament and service be its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration.
Que el amor sea la doctrina de esta iglesia, la búsqueda de la verdad, su sacramento, y el servicio, su oración. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad con libertad y ayudarnos mutuamente en comunidad. A eso aspiramos.
We light our chalice this morning in honor of all those who seek shelter, comfort, food, community. Later today, we will open our campus for the next 2 weeks to several individuals who would otherwise not have a safe, clean place to sleep and nourishing food to eat. May we be kind and generous hosts, and may there come a day when all have shelter and safety, food, health care, and community.
Con espíritu de reverencia, reconocemos que nos juntamos esta mañana en la tierra de los Kumeyaay, quienes continúan viviendo en todo su territorio. Al emprender este viaje juntos, mantengamos en nuestros corazones y mentes el pueblo Kumeyaay.
In a spirit of reverence, we acknowledge that we gathered this morning on the land of the Kumeyaay, who continue to live throughout their territories. May the light of our candle shine for our commitment to the Kumeyaay people and to justice and equity for indigenous people everywhere.
Good morning, friends. Good morning, Tony. 30 children are our time for all ages? Oh, hi. That's me too. We'll help each other. Well, good morning to my friends of all ages. I'm going to stay sitting down anyway because it's more comfortable. So today, our service is called Risking Transformation. And sometimes I think when we're thinking about transformation or big changes in our lives, we tend to think of them as exciting and something we get ourselves pumped up for. I think about the times when I've tried to change something, like start that new diet or exercise program, or move to a new place, or even when I was younger to go to a new school or to advance to the next grade. And they seemed really exciting, and sometimes they were. But many times, I would even say most of the times for me, those big transformations, the ones that really mattered, were also scary and took a lot of hard work and maybe didn't feel as exciting as I thought they would be when I started them. My idea of how exciting and fun they were going to be was maybe a little unrealistic. And so today our story is about a big transformation for a little stream. And his transformation, or its transformation, takes a lot of courage and sometimes facing big fears to just let go of everything and become something completely different. So it's a video today. It's called The Little Stream and the Sea.
Once there was a little stream that dreamed of flowing to the sea. The stream started in an aquifer, a huge pool of water underground, but the call of the ocean was so strong that the stream pushed its way through rocks and cracks, up through the earth, until it burst into the air and began its journey toward the sea. As its waters bubbled to the surface, they ran down the hill, carving the stream bed into the earth. Sometimes the stream babbled as it traveled. Sometimes it gurgled, and sometimes it roared. At times, the stream traveled alone. Its waters were so clear you could see the pebbles that lined its bed. At other times, the stream ran through great lakes, or tumbled over a cliff, or joined other streams to form a river, and then split again to travel alone. But always, always, the little stream yearned to flow into the sea. Sometimes the stream would run fast and deep, eager to reach the sea. Fish swam in its waters as it carried them swiftly on its journey. Sometimes the stream would grow wide and slow, and it would carry boats on its back as it continued its journey. But always, always, the little stream yearned to flow into the sea. One day, just as the call of the ocean seemed to grow a bit stronger, the stream found itself again growing sluggish. Its waters grew thick with mud until, sadly, it pooled into a brackish mud hole right on the edge of the desert. "Woe is me," thought the little stream. "Now I'll never get to the sea." It tried going around the desert, but the desert was too wide. It tried going under the desert, but the desert was too deep. Still, even with mud in its ears, the little stream heard the call of the ocean and yearned to flow to the sea. After what seemed like a long time, as the stream just pooled there in the sun, it began to hear a second voice. "I can take you to the sea, little stream," whispered the wind. "Come with me, I'll carry you to the ocean shore." "How could you do that?" said the stream. "You are only made of air." "I can carry you on the breeze," whispered the wind. "But you must be very brave. You must let go of yourself and change." "I've changed many times," said the stream. "But this will be different," said the wind. The little stream paused, but deep within, the stream still yearned for the sea. So the stream let go, and the wind picked it up particle by particle. At first, the stream was scared, for it felt lost. It was no longer a stream, but was turned sort of inside out and had become moisture swirling in the sky. The view was like nothing the little stream had ever seen before. Not only was the whole world laid out below it, but it was surrounded by sparkling jewels. Then, what had been the stream realized all those sparkling jewels were part of itself. Molecules of water, droplets of moisture sparkling in the light. What had been the stream realized that it was truly beautiful even on the inside. Next, the stream-turned moisture saw that it was not alone, for the wind had whispered to other streams and ponds, and even to the morning dew upon the oasis. All had turned into moisture, and all their parts were also sparkling in the sun. Together, they were even more beautiful, for the sunlight had changed them all into colors of the rainbow. Then, the little stream-turned rainbow felt itself falling and falling and falling. All the other droplets were falling too, until plop, 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 all the droplets ran together into a mighty river, which rushed down the mountainside, across the coastal plain, and into the sea, where the waves pushed it back and pulled it forward, and the currents carried it far out into the pulsing depths. The little stream was content. But I understand that every now and then, the wind will come whispering to the currents in the sea, "Come with me, come with me," and that the moisture will rise up into the wind and be carried away to start all over again. The end.
Well, I hope you liked the story, friends, and I hope that, when we're risking those transformations in our lives that can be scary and seem daunting, but have some pretty awesome outcomes, we take a moment and listen to that whisper and then dance on the wind. So, I'm going to stand up. Y'all can stay seated. And, you're up. And if you'll join me in saying our church affirmation, we'll say it first in English and then in Spanish. We are Unitarian Universalists, a people of open minds, loving hearts, and welcoming hands. Somos unitarios, universalistas, personas de mentes abiertas, corazones amorosos, y manos que dan la bienvenida. And now I invite all those children and youth I see to join me and their other leaders out on the patio.
So a few announcements this morning. Lay ministers are available after the service every Sunday to provide a listening presence. And this morning, our lay minister, I don't see anyone. Do I see anyone? Well, you can always talk to me. And I'm wearing a colorful stole. If there is something on your heart, we want to hold it with you. Just a reminder that this Tuesday, March 12th, on Zoom, Reverend Kristen and I will be continuing our learning series on the book Transforming Conflict, The Blessings of Congregational Turmoil by Teresa Cooley, and these sessions are on Zoom. The next one is this coming Tuesday at 6:30, and you're welcome to come even if you haven't been to the previous sessions. This week we will be reviewing chapters 5 and 6. And I urge you to look inside your order of service. Dining for Dollars returns. We need your ideas for events. This is one of our biggest and most wonderful community building fundraising auction of the year. There are different events held between June of 24 and December of 24. Where this year we're trying a twice a year format. So we'll see how that goes, but we need you. So please consider hosting an event. You can sign up on our website, firstuusandiego.org. And if you'd like to volunteer in person at church on Sundays to help folks sign up for this, please contact Lori Crahan I think Lori's here, or our Director of Operations, Robbie Evans. Thank you. And also another reminder, it's not too late to sign up for All Church Camp at the Venerable Pines. It's going to be the weekend of May 31st. I will be there, Dale will be there, Reverend Kristen and her family will be there. Let's go and bring church to Bennerville Pines. We'll have a guest preacher here for folks that decide to stay in town, but I hope we'll have a great turnout for that event. One of the ways that we live our values in the larger world is by sharing our offering each week with a local organization working for justice. Throughout the month of March, our offering is being received in support of the UU Justice Ministry of California. Their mission is to advance justice in our state by cultivating and connecting leaders and communities and by empowering the public voice of those who share UU values. And in April, the UU Justice Ministry will be partnering with Casa de Luz and the UU Refugee and Immigrant Services Education Group to offer a border pilgrimage and to support a home build in Tijuana. So our offering will go to support that very important work. You can donate this morning here in person by credit card using the dip jars over here on my right, or by cash or check using the donation boxes over to my left. If you need assistance, raise your hand, and you can always donate online on our church website, firstusandiego.org. Thank you for your generosity. The morning offering will now be gratefully received. We are grateful for all that we receive, grateful for all that we receive, grateful for the gifts of this wonderful director of music, Marshall Voigt, who steps up wherever he is needed. Thank you, Marshall. And in that spirit of gratitude, let us enter into a time of meditation or prayer. If you wish, you may close your eyes or let them have a soft focus on the chalice. Let yourself feel your feet on the floor if that's comfortable for you. Let yourself sink into the chair that's holding you a little bit, reminding you that you are safe. Let us breathe together for a moment in the beauty of this place, breathing in and out and in and out. Grateful for this roof over our head and this floor under our feet. We pray for safety for those who are living unhoused. Grateful that we can offer a space, even for a short while. Reminding us of each other's humanity and beauty and dignity. And in this time of turmoil and loss, may we be reminded that we are held by a love that lives between and among and all around us. Let us breathe in that love and breathe out peace.
Ubi caritas et amor, ubi caritas Deus ibi est, ubi caritas et amor, ubi caritas Deus ibi est, ubi caritas et amor, ubi caritas Deus ibi est.
A reading from the book Trusting Change by the Reverend Karen Herring. You know this story, learned it as a child, maybe even watched it up close. But listen as I tell it again from the inside. It begins so quietly you cannot hear it, and so small you can barely see it. Each monarch egg attached to the underside of a milkweed leaf is the size of a small white period. But that is misleading. This is not a sentence that has ended. Each of these periods marks a possible beginning. The egg hatches into a larva born of hunger, eating its way into the world. It devours the shell that held it and then moves on to eat the leaf beneath it. In a matter of days, the larva consumes more and more leaves, voraciously eating its way into visibility as a lengthened, wrinkled appetite, a striped caterpillar determined to grow. From the beginning, it is accustomed to the losses that growth tallies. 4 or 5 times the caterpillar sheds its skin like an unwanted, too small glove. Then, preparing to grow in ways that size cannot measure and skin cannot contain, the caterpillar develops a new shell under its final layer of skin. It turns upside down, practicing a radically new view and spinning from its back end a sturdy silken clasp from which its transformation will be suspended. One more time, it wriggles and squirms as the skin that no longer fits splits open and the shell beneath emerges in a different shape. Wide and curvaceous, taut and smooth, the chrysalis is camouflaged to hide the busy workshop inside where already the old is dissolving and the new has not yet taken form. Here on the inside is where I call your attention. Like many mysteries, it happens out of sight. But listen, can you hear it humming? Projected by the chrysalis, the caterpillar digests itself, releasing enzymes that break down all shape and form. Caterpillar, legs, eyes, mouth, its whole caterpillar way of being. It becomes a mass of goo, a thick soup, cooking up something new. Only a few parts of the caterpillar will not be consumed. Latent imaginal discs. Imaginal discs, a set of highly organized cells embedded from the beginning that contain everything needed for the change that lies ahead. Imagine. The imaginal discs have been there all along, waiting, designed to awaken in this breakdown and bring new shape. Bring new shape to the chaos. Wing and eye and curled antennae, like reverse fossils from the future, they are coded for metamorphosis, for emergence when all else has been dissolved and lost. But before they take on form, they begin with a thrumming, vibrating at frequencies unknown in the old caterpillar. The imaginal discs multiply rapidly. They cluster according to like resonance, communicating with each other until they grow into a shared knowledge of how to be something new. All have molded the identity of caterpillar. One cluster becomes an eye, another a wing, another a leg, each tailored to a butterfly's ways, to a butterfly's needs. They take on shapes and functions while linking to one another, their own development dependent on the others. And in that interdependence, they become whole. They become one, a new organism unlike anything that preceded it, ready to emerge, orange and black, to ward off attack. Fantastically designed for flight and migration across multiple generations, for survival across distance and season. Can you feel it? The humming in this story that calls to each of us now? Are you listening to the ancient rhythms resounding in the between, old instructions for new arrangements? beckoning us to ask, who are we becoming? In the chaos of great change, what imaginable possibilities are waiting to awaken in you, in me, in us, in the world? Are you willing to let go of what you now know to become something new?
It's my pleasure to introduce a new member of our community. This is Linda Walden. Linda's from Massachusetts and is sort of a snowbird, spends some of her time in San Diego, and found our community and reached out to me specifically and said, I love to sing and I'd love to share some music with the community sometime. So we sat and played through a bunch of songs together, and when we thought this service might be the one for Linda to sing at, we chose this song about transformation. That you will know and we hope that you will love.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly above the rainbow, why not you and I?
Are you willing? Are you willing to let go of what you now know to become something new? Karen Herring asks us. That is a tough one, isn't it, if we're honest? Right up there with the fear of snakes, heights, and public speaking. And Tony now has a snake in his office, so I get to experience all those fears, public speaking, snakes. No heights so much, but right up there with all those kind of primal fears is the fear of getting it wrong. The fear of not knowing what is expected of us, what is expected of me. We love the idea of moving forward. We love butterflies. We tolerate caterpillars. But don't we hate the goo in between? That time of not knowing, that time of the old familiar ways being gone, no longer available, actually dissolved. But the new way, not yet clear, not yet solid. There is a tiny bit of feedback I'm hearing. So I'm not sure what to do about that. It could be someone's hearing aid turned up too high or not in their ear. But it's distracting me a little bit, so maybe it's distracting you as well. It's the thrumming. It's the goo. But we've been there in that middle goo, haven't we, for at least 4 years now, longer depending on what you include in that time of not knowing, of dissolution. Certainly we could go back to the election of 2016. That threw many of us into a big pile of goo. I guess I just love that. I'm going to be talking about piles of goo, of not knowing, of not believing our own eyes, right? Are we still shocked about 2016? Our own senses. Now, sometimes a sermon that we set out to write is not the sermon that needs to be offered or that actually emerges. I was all set to talk about building a new way, and we will talk about that, about our bright future, our options for moving forward together. Perhaps finding a way to continue here just as we are, but in a way that is more sustainable for the longer term. Perhaps picking up stakes and moving somewhere else, though that seems the least likely of our options given the general lack of real estate properties in this area and our strong commitment to staying in this neighborhood. Or maybe there's a third way, as we've been talking about, of sharing this space with a partner who would develop this property with us, perhaps drawing new energy into this community. Good options for moving forward together, and we will be talking about them, and we will decide together. But today and this week, I have found myself thinking about all that is going on in the larger world. 5 months since the attack on civilians in Israel, killing over 1,000 people. 5 months of bombardment in Gaza, tens of thousands of civilians dead, wounded, tremendous suffering. And great division among us in how we talk about it. What suffering gets lifted up, what words we use. It is fraught. And so many of us have avoided it altogether. This past week or so, our Unitarian Universalist Association issued a statement. They actually issued a statement right away in October after the attacks of October 7th. But more recently, they offered another statement calling for peace, calling for a ceasefire, calling for an end to the suffering, calling for a lasting peace. And I am grateful for that statement. It opens with these words. This is from our UUA. There are crystallizing moments in the course of history when, in spite of the differences that exist among us, our common reverence for life demands that we speak with moral courage and clarity on the side of love. As people of faith and conviction, Unitarian Universalists share a belief that every human life is sacred, endowed with worth and dignity from the moment of birth, with no person more deserving of freedom and flourishing than any other. Our living tradition has long maintained that the only hells that exist are those that we create for one another here on earth. It is a powerful statement, and I'm glad that our national Unitarian Universalist leaders have spoken out. That is a good thing for our leaders to remind us that we are all called to care for one another and not to do harm. Let me also say that something that truly made my heart sing this past week was learning that our UUA is making available space for shelter to shelter unhoused people at our headquarters in Boston. Our UUA, housing the homeless. And we here in San Diego this week are opening our doors here at Hillcrest to about a dozen unhoused people, including a family with a young baby. Food, shelter, companionship, safety. This is something we can offer. Yes, a carefully worded statement calling for peace, expressing our horror at the violence in Israel and Palestine, taking a stand for peace is important. But living our values in other ways, in smaller, more immediate ways, is also important. And being in that place of not knowing and waiting, listening, learning together where we can be of the greatest use. Figuring this out together, that is important too. I joke sometimes that when you all applied to have a developmental minister come here and be with you for 4 years, you were asked to come up with 4 to 7 goals, and we have 8. They include building trust, reimagining a right relationship team, renewing our covenant, ensuring financial stability, right-sizing our staff, assessing our system of governance, figuring out the stay or go decision, and strengthening the ties between our 2 campuses, Hillcrest and South Bay. Now, I'll be honest with you. My main goal for our time together, what will allow me to feel that we have been successful, is to help you make good, grounded decisions about your future without turning on each other, without increased rancor. That's the work, right? Doing hard things, doing important things together. I think every couple thinking about getting married should have to take a long road trip together with insufficient navigation tools. And if they can stay friends through that, they are good to go. Yes, I'm smiling lovingly at my spouse. I will say that GPS, or as we like to call her, Our Lady of Where to Go, was very good for our relationship. And she never says, "Why did we have to come here anyway?" She just says calmly, "Take your next legal U-turn." Remember, that used to be a common thing, right? Make your next legal U-turn. There is pain and uncertainty all around us. And I know that I've been feeling it more acutely lately. All the losses that we have experienced just in my 18 months or so with you. And I'm not going to name them all, but George and Jerry, Jorge, Mary Rose, Betty Boone, John Hull, Carolyn Owens Hull, Jim Grant. More than I can name just from memory. 4 years since the pandemic shut everything down. This is the anniversary of that beginning of life changing so dramatically. 1 million dead in this country from this virus. 1 million. On September 11, 2001, many of us watched in horror as about 3,000 people were killed in an instant in the World Trade Center. At the height of the pandemic, 3,000 people died every day. And the death of George Floyd, mass shootings in Las Vegas, Texas, Colorado, Chicago, Buffalo, school shootings in Michigan, Uvalde, Texas. More than we can enumerate, more than we can remember. Losses near and far, big and small, devastating, all of them. Overwhelming. And we know that when we are overwhelmed with fear and grief, we don't always make the best decisions. And we don't always treat one another with kindness. It's hard to be patient and compassionate when it feels like the world is on fire. So what we need, and something that communities of worship can offer and have offered for millennia, is a place and a time for lament. Every tradition has had a place for keening, wailing, crying out in grief, rage, fear. Except not so much for us white folks living in the U.S. We're not so comfortable making noise like that. But certainly our forebears from Europe and Africa, Asia, and indigenous people of the Americas have traditions of vocalizing their grief and their pain. And so I am inviting us into a time of making some noise to express that which cannot be explained or carefully articulated with words or reasoned with rhetoric. Sometimes we just have to cry out, moan. So in a moment, I'm going to invite you into a practice that I learned in a workshop I attended with Issei Barnwell. I think she has been here with you on occasion, a woman of African descent and a founding member of the singing group Sweet Honey in the Rock. And if you are watching at home, I invite you to join in as well. A practice of lament. And I'm on this mic now. This is a good follow-on to... There we go. This is a good, I always like to stump Zane at least once. This is a good follow-on to the practices that you experienced last week with Reverend Kristen, right? Really being embodied. So this is, first of all, let's just sing ooh together in a dainty, pretty way. Ready? Ooh. Lovely. Okay, this is not that. This is from the belly, from the soles of your feet. Lament. So I'm going to start, and I'm just going to invite you when you're ready to join in on any sound that feels right for you. There's no wrong notes. There's no words that you need to say, but if there's a phrase you want to repeat, that'll be okay. We'll do this for a few minutes, and then we'll experience some silence together. So much grief, so much rage, so much pain. All that pain lives inside us and around us. And we, as people of faith, we can hold each other in that pain. This is what spiritual community can do. Not just take a stand, not just craft statements, but offer solace, hold space for difficult conversations and for conversations without words. Songs of lament. O God of our understanding, we know that we are blessed with many gifts, a beautiful planet that sustains us, and beloved companions with whom we could share all that we have if we could but learn to share. Teach us to be grateful, to be kind, to be loving. Help us to work for justice and to offer one another grace when we are weary or overwhelmed by the enormity of the suffering around us. Help us to stop hurting one another. I close with these words from Sikh American author and activist Valerie Kaur. Our most powerful response to the horror in Israel and Palestine is to refuse to surrender our humanity. You will be told by some the deaths of Israeli children are unfortunate but inevitable because Israel's occupation of Palestine is brutal and wrong. If you cannot look at the news and the images, it's okay. Step away. Be with the earth. Go to the trees. Let them breathe through you. Remember that you don't need to do all the things, just the one that's yours to do. If you want to help but don't know how, begin in relationship. Who in your life is hurting from this? Offer to walk with them. Listen to them. There is no fixing grief, only hearing it together, only bearing it together. Only then do we know what to do next. If you are falling apart, your breathlessness is not a sign of your weakness, but of your strength, of how deeply you feel the horror, how deeply you care. You still feel, and that matters in a world that wants us to feel nothing. Who can feel it with you? Breathe with you. Opening our hearts to grief, others and our own, is how we hold our humanity in a world that would destroy it. It's how we will survive this. Blessed be. Amen.
I invite you to rise as body and spirit allow and join me in singing our closing hymn. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, the world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. Yes, we are big. a new way. We are building a new way.
Opening our hearts to grief and others and our own is how we hold our humanity in a world that would destroy it. It's how we will continue to survive this. Go in peace, my beloveds.